Hi, this is Brad Hennings with CCK Law, and we're here today to talk about clues or reasons to appeal to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, or the CAVC. So a denial by the Board of Veterans' Appeals is not necessarily the end of the road for your claim. When the board makes legal or procedural errors, appealing to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, or CAVC, may lead to a remand or a reversal. We're going to talk a little bit about the most common red flags in a BVA decision that signal a potential or strong potential for success on appeal. So one of the potential issues in a BVA decision is failure to properly discuss or address lay evidence. The board must analyze all favorable lay statements from the veteran, caregivers, family, fellow service members, or friends. A red flag appears when the board dismisses lay testimony as not competent without proper explanation, fails to address the credibility or probative value of those lay statements, or mentions the lay evidence but never explains why it is accepting or rejecting that lay evidence. So the CAVC regularly remands decisions where the board provides inadequate reasons or bases for disregarding lay testimony. Another big red flag is a reliance on an inadequate VA examination. This is a big one. So the board is required to ensure that the VA examinations, the compensation and pension examinations that VA is providing due to its duty to assist, are adequate. So some signs that this exam may not be adequate is that the examiner did not review the veteran's full medical or service history, especially in service connection cases. The examiner relied on incorrect facts or made assumptions contradicted by the record. The examiner just doesn't include a rationale or an explanation. It's missing, it's perfunctory, it's conclusory. The examiner can't just say, well, because I said so, because I'm a doctor or because I'm a medical professional. They have to actually provide some reasoning. Or if the examination fails to address functional loss, flare-ups, secondary service connection, or aggravation when those concepts are relevant. If the board relies on such an exam to deny a claim, that's a strong basis for appeal to the CAVC. Another red flag is when the board uses the wrong legal standard. So some examples of incorrect board reasoning include requiring medical evidence when lay evidence is legally sufficient, where they take a categorical. So when the board takes a categorical approach to requiring medical evidence where lay evidence is sufficient, that could be a basis for appeal. The board could apply too high a legal standard for nexus, where they require medical certainty instead of at least as likely as not, or in a approximate balance, or something a little less strong. And they could misinterpret statutory or regulatory requirements, for example, for TDIU, for increased ratings, or service connection. The court frequently finds legal errors when the board misstates or misapplies the law. Some other common errors that strengthen a CAVC appeal: failure to address all the theories of entitlement, for example, secondary, aggravation, or presumptive service connection; ignoring favorable evidence, such as medical opinions, records, employer statements, or Social Security determinations; providing inadequate statements of reasons or bases, for including vague conclusions, unexplained findings, or missing discussion of key facts; and also duty to assist failures, as we discussed somewhat with the examinations, and those include missing service records, incomplete medical records, or failure to obtain relevant private treatment notes that the veteran has appropriately identified or provided. So remember, Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims appeals focus on legal and procedural mistakes, not on whether the board simply reached a different opinion. Identifying these red flags early can determine whether a court appeal is both viable and likely to succeed. So to learn more about these court appeals, you can visit the CCK website, again at cck-law.com. You can explore more videos on VA disability appeals on the CCK Law YouTube channel. This is Brad Hennings with CCK Law. Thanks again.